Hi, I'm John Ellis, the flute maker at Turtle Mound Flutes, and I'm here today in this video to offer you the opportunity to own a little bit of the musical history of this country. I call this my Hook Hastings tribute flute. Now you may not recognize the name Hook Hastings. I didn't initially, but they were the predominant maker of pipe organs in the late 19th and into the 20th century. To give you a little start in understanding Hook Hastings, I'd like to offer you the opportunity to hear a Hook Hastings organ. This story goes back almost 200 years and begins with two brothers who had a dream. Elias and George Greenleaf Hook operated a prominent pipe organ design and manufacturing company in Massachusetts beginning in 1827. They were sons of a cabinet maker and apprenticed under highly respected organ builder William Goodrich. The company was originally called E. and G.G. Hook. In 1832, they moved their business from its original home in Salem to Boston and began producing larger organs. Francis Henry Hastings joined the company in 1855 at the age of 19. In 1866, the Hook brothers took him into the business as a co-partner, and then a full partner in 1871, renaming the company E. and G.G. Hook and Hastings. Then, when the Hook brothers died in 1880 and 1881, Hastings bought out their share. He decided to keep the prestigious Hook name when the business was reorganized as a corporation in 1893, shortening the name to Hook and Hastings. In its day, Hook and Hastings was the premier organ builder in the United States, but with dwindling demand during the Great Depression, the company ceased operations in 1935. Now, over its lifetime, Hook and Hastings produced an estimated 2,614 organs. One that was produced in 1924 found its way to the Suntree United Methodist Church in 2018. It had been disassembled and kept in a mini storage unit in Stuart, Florida, after its previous home, which I believe was a church in Sarasota, decided to change their worship style to a more contemporary, and the old pipe organ just didn't fit in anymore. It arrived at Suntree UMC in thousands of parts, but under the skilled guidance of Suntree's principal organist, Tom Taylor, the pipe organ parts were reassembled and married to a fully functional Rogers digital organ to create a unique hybrid instrument that allows the player to choose between the pipes or digital circuitry for sound. The project took 24 months from initial concept to completion, requiring a new design and building modifications to house the instrument. Tom tells us, the rescued 1924 Hook and Hastings pipe organ is registered with the National Organ Historical Society. Putting its origin in context, he said it was already in service when Lindbergh first crossed the Atlantic, when the Korean conflict ended, and when man first walked on the moon. It has its own unique history and now forms the core of a brand new instrument. I feel genuinely privileged to have been part of the project that brought this magnificent organ back to life. The official debut of the restored pipe organ in its new home was A Music for All Reasons, a grand concert in October 21st of 2020. So, how did I come into possession of wood from this old pipe organ? While using the functional parts from the 1924 Hook and Hastings the console pipes, and hundreds of mechanical pieces, in creating their new hybrid, there were some non-functional wooden pieces that were not needed. Prior to going to Suntree, Tom was organist and leader of the praise band at the Pineda Presbyterian Church in Palm Shores when I first joined the church, and shortly thereafter the praise band. That was about 20 years ago. Well, Tom called me to see if I would be interested in taking some of this excess wood, or it would just be thrown away. With the history behind that wood, I thought they should be salvaged and given a second musical life. That is the wood from which I made my Hook Hastings tribute flutes. I don't know for sure the species of the wood, but believe it was likely pine, maybe even sugar pine. It was all in excellent condition with only signs of its prior use, such as screw holes. I felt some of the pieces would be workable for flutes with a 1-inch bore, making it ideal for flutes in the keys of E, E-flat, D, and C sharp, while the rest would work for flutes with a 3/4-inch bore, for flutes in F sharp up to B. In the winter of 2024, I began work on 6 flutes with the 1-inch bore. These were followed in the summer by 6 flutes with the 3/4-inch bore. Because I'm going to have to shut down my business, those 12 flutes will be the only examples of the Hook Hastings tribute flutes. Yes, and now there's only one of these flutes left available for you to own. Tom talks about the history of this country since the organ that's now up at Suntree United Methodist Church, since that organ was made. I like to think back almost a century earlier to when the company that made that organ was founded in 1827. That's back before the Trail of Tears, before the Civil War, before the invention of the light bulb, the telephone, the automobile, all these things that are so important to our daily lives. This flute is available for $500 plus shipping if I have to send it to you, and the sales tax, the Florida state sales tax, if I ship it within the state of Florida. This flute comes with a certificate of authenticity attesting to my promise that it was made from wood from a 1924 Hook Hastings organ. You have that assurance.